shook me, eh? I'm just carrying on a bit. You're an animal. Whether you are watching us on YouTube or listening to us on your favourite podcast platform, welcome back to the Torq Hub PODCAST. Here we are, brother.
Hey!
Episode 15.
15 of the Torq Hub podcast. Welcome back. Merry Christmas, my dude.
Oh, what a beautiful time of the year it is.
Beautiful for some. We've been working our holes out. But no, it is a good time of year. It's great to catch up with the fam and do all of that stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Want to thank a couple of you legends. You would have been unwrapping some merch under the Christmas tree this year, which has been pretty cool. I saw a couple of, wives' names and stuff on the orders, and one fella did email us and sort of said, hey, this is for Secret Santa, so don't put any names on it. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it fits all right. They got your size.
I still get really pumped just thinking about people buying our merch.
Yep.
I don't know, it's a weird feeling, really.
Literally just 2 minutes before we hit record, I just got a DM from our dudes at ProTune, and they sent us a photo with, wearing the shirt while they're out and about.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn.
Yeah, so good.
It is.
So,
it
yeah.
is so good. Thanks
We
so
love it.
much for your support.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
2023, I guess we'll sort of do this towards the end of the podcast when we wrap up for the year. But, you guys have killed it for 2023. We're super pumped. Thank you so much.
We'll get some more designs happening next year and do it all again.
You said that last year.
Yeah, well, we did. We got a new design.
We did.
Okay, no, don't knock me down. It's December, mate. Be happy.
Yeah, that's right.
It's my job to be negative around here, not you, eh?
Not being negative.
No, not at all. You can't be negative. Not when you've got this little baby in the background there, this little white beauty.
It was a white Christmas. You're dead right. Yeah, the set has not looked this nice.
Ever.
Yeah. We'll have a deep dive conversation into that shortly. But, super pumped to have my car back. That was the greatest Christmas present ever. And it was, 2 days before Christmas? I think.
One of them. I don't know. This, you know what it's like this time of the year, man. Everything's a blur.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. But yeah, there wasn't even really a hell of a bunch of time to enjoy it. It was pretty much like get it home, and then I had like 1 day with the family, and then I was back to work again. So it's just now that we're chilling out in the shed and you get to really take it in.
Yeah.
Still smell the compound on it.
Yeah, it just smells pretty.
It does. Well, it's been a good month for content. You did
Is shit posting content?
Well, yeah.
It is. If you go off just all the figures, when you go into your little backdoor thing and you look at the figures, if that drove what we did,
Holy moly.
yeah, you just probably wouldn't be buying the shirts, put it that way.
Nah.
Shit posting rules supreme at this time of the year, it seems.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
I know you were trolling with all your Photoshop
See, I wasn't even
stuff.
trolling in the beginning, right? So the original post was obviously got another VH and covered mine on the photo. And that was just for our followers, essentially, just to be like, the car's been picked up. No, you're not seeing it yet. But then, holy.
But how funny would it be if everyone in the comments was actually just trolling us or you by saying, that's not real, you're shit at Photoshop, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, I was starting to smack my head for a bit, but maybe they're just really expert level trollers.
I don't know. There was...
or professional level.
When you look at the age demographic of a lot of the people that didn't get it, they're sort of the boomer area.
Which is actually our biggest demographic, really, isn't it? Or second biggest.
No, yeah, I was going to say probably second. Our biggest demographic is sort of our age, between 28 to 38, I'd say. That'd be our biggest demographic for sure.
I feel like I'm 58 at heart, though. Some days.
You act like it.
Oh, yeah. I'm the grumpiest, you know what. Ain't nobody going to want to be around me when I'm of retirement age, if I make it.
No. I'll tell you what, if people could see the behind-the-scenes shot of the fabrication of the fuel tank episode.
Oh, yeah, that when you did the... when we were fucking around doing the Kang thing and all that. Is that what you're talking about?
Nah, just like when you were having to do it solo and you're like, you know, you're trying.
I can't even remember,
You're
right?
trying to work it out yourself and you're just kind of like, hang on, I'll do that again, you know?
Fuck this.
Yeah.
Bro, I know. The camera is not for me.
No.
Well, it's not that it's not for me.
Can you believe it's raining?
I was trying to figure that out, yeah.
Holy.
That is random. Hopefully it's not coming through
We'll
here
see.
too bad. I'll get a bit closer.
But yeah,
But yeah, I hate picking up the camera and, you know, it just sort of wrecks your workflow. But it's got to be done sometimes, so...
it's one of those things, if, say, I'm working and you're filming, it's okay. If you're working and I'm filming, it's okay. Like, it's easy. But when you've got to present and film and make sure you're getting multiple angles and blah, 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 whatever, it's, you know, it's a pretty hard gig. But and for me,
It's just a mental thing, honestly, for me. I've just like, I don't know.
Well, it just adds.
Yeah, it's just like you want to get into the zone and just get something happening.
Yeah.
For me, once I've decided I'm going in there and I know I have to film something without you, like once I'm in there, it's usually for the most part it's all right. But sometimes it's whether it's getting done at all or not. Because I'll be like, oh nah, fuck that, I'm not, nah. Even though it's literally 2 seconds worth of whatever. I reckon what we should do, because we keep talking about it, we'll get one of those 3-footed monsters just to take that, so I don't have to like undo the screw on the thing, you know, like
just slap the magnet.
Let's just get rid of that step so I can just slap it here and slap it there, and we'll do that. That might get us a bit more progress into the new year.
Maybe. But just touching back on the episode itself, that was some of the coolest fabrication processes that we've ever sort of shown, I guess, with the whole robotic table router and the automatic handbrake. How cool.
What am I usually using? I'm sort of known for just making stuff with like the minimum you can have, and it's just I'm definitely working away. I'm trying to work towards getting more tools to make things easier. I know I can do things the hard way, but definitely next year I want to work on trying to be more productive with the hours that we do allocate on the projects, because that's sort of the downer of the year for me, like sort of looking back on the year and just having a bit of reflective, you know, a reflective thought. It's like, I want to be more productive. I'm not happy with how much I got done. I'm happy with what we got done. But I wish we could have compacted that into like literally like less than half of the time.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have the car running by the end of the year, not getting ready for wiring at the end of the year. Yeah.
So, working on getting some more tooling and stuff just to make things easier. Investing in ourselves a little bit. Purely just for time factor. As you get older, I'm starting to realise time is worth more than what I thought it once was. Yeah. So I'm starting to figure that out. I'm not real smart. But yeah, as far as the actual like process itself, it was everything we do on the channel is all very, very basic stuff. Like it's just a series of basic tasks, isn't it really? Yeah. So, you know, the tank was really no different. You could have made that tank with you know, like a circular saw, which is how I would normally do it. A circular saw, you'd still need a brake, a pan brake or a press brake or whatever, but you know, it is cool to utilise bits and pieces that you have at your disposal. So
and I don't know if it really would have saved a hell of a lot of time either, because
not really.
And if you
not for a one-off.
No, and if you've watched the recent episodes that the Street Machine guys have put out with their drag challenge ute, all of the 3D scanning and all the CAD design and all that kind of stuff, it takes a lot of time, but it eliminates a lot of guesswork and a lot of revisions. It just means that when you're doing it the first time, it fits. Yeah. And then, like you say, you can repeat that again, which means you can do it as a production item. Like you say, doing that tank once, was it worth the process that we went through to do it once? Probably not. We're just lucky that we got Chris at our disposal.
Yeah.
And shout out to you, CCW Engineering. If you didn't catch that before, go check him out.
Yeah.
But to be able to maybe come up with that catch can, or like there's other products that you can come up with.
Yeah, I think it will come into its own.
Process.
Hopefully more next year when I actually sort of start. We might develop a couple of different fab parts for yours.
Yeah.
We've got another VS coming in, which maybe the front of that's going to be sort of more standard, whereas I've cut the crap out of mine and lowered sheet metal and stuff, so it's not the best base to develop any sort of bolt-on type parts for it. We've got the VY as well, so there's a few different vehicles that, I can sort of knock a few bits and pieces up, and then once we get them all in the computer, you can just get it cut. That's where it comes into its own. On one-offs like the tank, it really didn't save any time at all.
No.
But it was still cool to see the process anyway.
Yeah, and it does make for a better result as well.
Yeah, well, it means I didn't have to put a million ton of aluminium chips all over through my shed and through everything. So mess Chris's shed up instead. That's beautiful.
How good.
Yeah. So,
and that welder that he's got as well, holy.
Yeah, it's a pretty flash. That's what Chris does. He doesn't do anything by halves. He buys the machine that's 5 times more capable than what he probably ever would need. But that's just, he geeks out on that. So that's what he's sort of all about. He's got a lot of really cool different bits and pieces. He can I think that's just sort of his thing. He geeks out on it. So,
but I mean, this guy builds flat pack aluminium boats.
Yeah, he builds boats.
That's why
there's people building boats with a lot less than that though as well. But he doesn't do anything by halves. I guess that's what I was getting at. So and he's pretty clever dude. So he's very handy to know. Yeah. His brain's like an encyclopedia.
Yeah,
he sort of just remembers everything, whereas I'm the complete opposite. I forget everything, which is kind of annoying.
Well, I reckon you did a good job filming it and getting it done while I was away. And,
it was something for everyone to look at, wasn't it? Yeah, it's better than nothing. Yeah, really, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Like I said in the video, that's just the way I thought about doing it at the time. Like, if I had my time again, would I do it the same? Probably, but there's other ways I thought. But I think in my process of doing what I do in fabricating and stuff, it's picking an idea and going with it's usually the biggest hurdle for me, because I'm always, overthinking everything almost to a certain degree. And then sometimes I'll end up I'm just going, fuck it, and going back to something really basic. And then if it doesn't work, you can always change it later. Another thing I'm learning to sort of work out. But I'm real happy with everything that I'm doing. Like, there's nothing I'm ever sort of not happy with. If I'm not happy with it, it doesn't happen. And you know that.
I think for the most part, it's still fairly over-engineered.
Yeah.
For what it is, you know what I mean? And even like the oiling system, you guys haven't seen that yet, but we're most of the way through that. And, it's all for the task at hand. It's pretty over-engineered. But at the same time...
It's pretty basic as well, though, really.
Yeah. But, I mean, if Caden wanted to put a stroker engine and a G42 on it or whatever, he won't have to change any of this stuff.
No, I'm pretty sure with the room I've got there, we could probably fit a G40 without changing too much, really. And even if you did have to change, the only thing you'd have to do is probably drop everything down a little bit. If the frame, to go to a 42, you'd probably have to drop everything down, but it would literally be like a slight modification of the exhaust,
the dump
pipe that goes into... the dump pipe would need to be changed a little bit. The pipe going into the turbo collector would need to be changed a little bit maybe, and a little bit of cooler piping. But for the most part, it's all easy stuff.
Yeah.
Everything we do is easy. We don't do anything complicated.
No. It just helps when you've got some knowledge in the field and the right tools at your disposal.
Yeah. I think it's all simple tasks, but try and do them to the best of your ability, sort of thing. And I don't do tons and tons of it. Like, what we do in the shed is not what I'm doing at work. Like, I'm a tradesman, boilermaker, fabricator, welder, whatever you want to call it, but it's not, I don't do that sort of stuff. I'm in sort of refinery-based maintenance. Like, it's not applicable really at all. Yeah,
it's all heavy industry.
And honestly, most of the time, I'm not even welding. Like, honestly, 90% of the time, I'm on a rattle gun or rigging something up or, whatever. It's basically fitting.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyone can do it. Honestly, anyone could do anything that we do on the channel with minimal outlay in parts and equipment and stuff.
Yeah, just starting with quality base materials, quality tools. You know, it all that stuff makes a difference for sure.
Yeah. The welding machines have gotten a lot better in the last, fair while. When I first bought my first TIG welder, my AC/DC, I didn't think you could buy an AC TIG welder that would be affordable back when I bought mine. It was a cheap uni MIG one or uni TIG, and that served me well. But it's nothing on like the Everlast I've got now. Yeah. And the new Everlast that I want to get,
I was just about to say,
will be even better again. Yeah. Like for sort of the amount of work that I do, that's sort of where I would be there. If you were doing a lot of really, really high-end stuff all day, every day, you could spend a little more money, I guess.
Yeah. So let's sort of go down that line of thinking for a minute. Like, if you're someone who is looking to get in and have a crack and you've got nothing to start with, what advice for the punters from a guy that sort of has done it for a living, what would you recommend people to look at?
Well, you're going to need a welder.
Yeah.
I like and we're not sponsored or anything by Everlast.
Could be.
We could be. I put our friend Liam, I put him onto an Everlast machine. It's sort of more of it's like a 3-in-1 style machine. So it does, they all do stick. Anything can do stick. So it does sort of your MMA, sort of stick welding. It does MIG. It does your MIG process as well, but it also has your TIG function, but with AC, which is the kicker. There's a lot of 3-in-1 machines that sort of do your DC, even high frequency start. So when I say high frequency, what that means is you have a button on the handpiece to press to initiate the arc, whereas you can get sort of the more cheaper, less feature set one with like a scratch start or a lift start or whatever. So that's basically all that is a stick welder with a TIG handpiece attached to it. That's what that is. So you can get a high frequency start DC machines in sort of a 3-in-1. They're fairly common, but the fact that Everlast, and there's probably other brands too, but Everlast is the only one I know of. They do a 3-in-1 with the AC and the DC function for the TIG, so you can do anything with that machine. And I think I'm not sure the amperage of the machine now, but it's around it's a single phase machine, which is probably the next thing everyone's sort of going to go for. And so I would go for one of those. I can't remember the model. If I had known you were going to ask, I would have found it out. But
it's like a 280 Typhoon or something.
It's not a Typhoon. Well, I don't know. I don't think it's a Typhoon, or is it? I'm
not sure. Yeah.
If you go on the Everlast website or go into Oz Welding Supplies, I think he's the main guy now. Check him out anyway. They'll be on there. If anyone wants to know, send me a message and I'll send you the link to it if you're that interested. But yeah, that would be, and it's probably not super duper cheap. Like, it's not going to be hundreds of dollars. You're probably into the
$2 or $3 grand.
I think it might be 1 to 2 or maybe a bit over 2. I've got no idea. But it's worth that investment, sort of buy once, cry once, and you can do everything. And then it's just practice, practice.
So that AC, you say that's the main thing.
So the AC is the function for welding aluminium. You need the alternating current. So it's electrode positive and electrode negative, and you can adjust the frequency of it from bloody all the way down. I don't know how high up that one goes, but yeah, you can. It's basically the way the electrode positive and negative work. One will blast all the oxide off the aluminium, and then the other one penetrates and puts the heat into it. It's what you need to do to weld aluminium, because the oxide layer on the aluminium melts at like thousands of degrees, but obviously aluminium as a base material itself is like hundreds of degrees. So you need that function in order to, I call it everyone calls it cleaning. So the cleaning action, you're cleaning the oxide off in order to be able to make the weld. So yeah, whenever you need to weld aluminium, a pedal. I know someone said to me once, I've got a pedal for my TIG so I can do aluminium. No, that's not how it works. You need the AC function.
So if you were to use a pedal on DC, you still don't have...
The only thing the pedal does is adjust your amperage. That's the only thing the pedal does. Is an amperage adjustment, which is very handy for aluminium also, because you'll need a bit more juice at the start to get it going, and then you it'll heat up reasonably quick a lot of the time, and then you can sort of back off as you go.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to get sort of proficient to the point where it looks like anything remotely like what people put on Instagram every day.
Yeah.
I get heartbroken every time because, it's not something I do every day, so I'm always trying to get better, but I just come to learn that with time and just doing more and more of it, my proficiency will get better. So, but it's definitely, it's to a standard that I think is, good enough.
Well, I mean,
I'm fairly picky for what I do. You know what I mean? So
some of these guys on Instagram, they're using pretty exotic shielding gases, and they're using rotators and things like that.
It's just time, honestly. Yeah. It's just time under the hood, as they say. Yeah. Like that's what it comes down to. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because there's guys that probably have less gear than me that can do twice as good a job. So yeah. Practice, practice, practice. And what I always do when I'm piping out a job and I've tacked it all up and I'm ready to go, especially with aluminium, I'll start on a spot where you can't see, and I'll sort of get my flow in, and always try and finish strong where the material's got a little bit of warmth in it, so you're not trying to get it all buttery straight away. Start on a spot where you can't see every time. It doesn't fail.
Plan your stop starts.
Yeah, exactly. That's all the stuff. Like, it's the little stuff that people don't think of and people don't care, but I sort of do.
Yeah.
But in no way, shape or form am I saying that I've got that stage clocked yet, because I've still got a hell of a lot to learn to get to where I'd like to get.
Even planning your stop starts doesn't mean that mid-run you're going to hit a dirty patch.
Or slip your finger off and just drop the tungsten straight in it.
And it's always right on the top.
We did that on the XY, didn't we?
We did.
Right there in that vice to my left.
I think we did.
Right on the top, on the bloody on the carb hat, I think it was, on the plastic clamp. It was like drop the tungsten straight in on the top.
Fuck. I think we did that on Liam's ute as well once. It was one of the intercooler pot, like the main ones across the top, and you're like, of all the places.
Yeah, but you can fix it up.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, you sort of realise anything can be fixed. That's the good thing about metal. You're like a dumb carpenter, really, because metal is like Play-Doh a lot of the time. It really is. You could cut something off and build it back up with weld, smooth it off.
Yeah.
It is very... you can do a lot with it, and you can hide a lot of sins, as people do on the daily.
Yeah. Well, wood doesn't let you do that. That's
No.
Yes. No, good chat. Thanks for that, bud.
Yeah. So,
what'd you get for Christmas? That was something we glazed over a little bit. I wanted to ask you what you got for Christmas.
I got one gift that's going to keep on giving all year.
Ooh.
A subscription to Super Motocross.
Oh,
sick. For the year.
Yeah,
so nice. I'm pretty pumped on that. Very excited. There's I don't know how many days left now. It's like 9 or 8 days until the first race. So, Anaheim won, so I'm getting pretty excited for that. And I got a sweet water bottle, Yeti water bottle. Yeti. I'm easily pleased, man. The less you buy me, the happier I am.
Well, it's not like we don't spend enough on ourselves throughout the year, obviously, with the hobbies that we've got.
Yeah. I've had a quiet there this year, actually.
Yeah.
Real quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, simple. Keep it simple. Yeah. Don't buy me stuff that you want to buy me. Let me just buy the stuff that I want to buy myself.
Pretty much, yeah. I too got a water bottle. Yeti, it's a Yeti copy, I guess. It's similar, same but different. I got a pair of thongs, and I got some like beard wash and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Guess what? My beard's coming back.
Your beard's coming back?
It is, mate.
Well, it was work required that you didn't have it.
And they've just changed. Yeah.
Nice.
So from like tomorrow or the next day or whatever. So I'll bring it back. I'm not going to grow one like yours, though.
The Troy Candy's coming. I'm only halfway to where I want to be, honestly. Yeah. I'm thinking I'm going to go proper long.
ZZ top spec.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, you're just going to bring the Troy Candy back.
Yeah, just I'm not going to call it that, but yeah, just a little something.
Everyone else will.
Purely, a lot of it's just out of laziness, really.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone actually likes shaving their face bare. It's not great. It's not much fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there are. For sure. I think there's people that hate having hair on their face.
Yeah, I get that as well. You got to find that happy medium.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Beard's back anyway.
Yeah, buddy.
But, yeah, I think that's about all I got, really. Kids, kids always do well with all their stuff. So
the wife did well out of me.
It's been good. School holidays is in full swing now, so it's good. I'm hanging out, and it's good for me because I'm not an active person by any stretch of the imagination, but whenever the kids want to go riding, which I'm going to try and do a lot more of, it's it's BMX at the skate park. So I've been enjoying that.
Yeah.
And we'll be off again tomorrow, aren't we?
Yeah.
Cruise.
We'll find a...
I know where I want to go.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
I think there's one at Belmont Jump Track.
Oh, right on.
Skate park. So we'll talk about that later, but yeah.
Sick.
So, hanging out with the kidlets has been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. We've beat around the bush long enough. I think we'll step into the next bit because people got questions that they want answered. So let's do that.
This week's hot topic.
That's hot.
The hot topic. Needless to say, it's the VH. And honestly, well, what was your thoughts on it? You've had a quick walk around and had a gaze. What do you reckon?
I reckon it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think being the fact that it's like just a plain Jane white, which is like what we all really like. But yeah, I can sort of see where some people would be. I seen one guy in the comments said it was a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like anything, it's not going to come to life until like it starts coming together. It really won't be until trims are on. It's the I think I was having this thought driving home yesterday or the day before with this car in particular. I was like, you're really going to have to nail the stance. I think you're going to have to put a real nice set of wheels on it, like some welds, like some, you're going to have to spend the, 8, 9, 10 grand on the wheels and get the stance good, and just fit and finish is going to have to be sort of, to do what you've done so far justice, with especially with the money you've spent, the amount of time that Simon spent in getting everything to fit the way he has, to sort of slap it together. This was never going to happen, but just say if you slapped it sort of back together with some of the original trim that just not quite up to scratch, it really would do what's been done this far like an injustice. It really would. So the fit and finish is going to have to be sort of on point, a high quality wheel, really good stance. Is that it's going to be sick. Yeah. Because then you're not relying on that super wowie like metallic paint or custom paint or whatever, which you could get away if you went like you've seen that sort of candy red looking one that's around, like looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. You could get away with a little bit less on the fit and finish and it would still have that impact that we're talking about, whereas this one, it's going to hit differently purely because you're not relying on that colour for your impact. It's going to be the fit and finish, which is right up our alley really with how we like cars to be. So. Yeah.
So yeah, like you're saying, if I did go with like a real fancy candy paint job or like a custom colour or whatever, you get away with, say, you just paint the bumpers black and just paint the trims black. You know what I mean? Like it does make it easier now. I'm going to have a lot of my trims refinished, repolished. Some of them are going to have to be like stripped and chromed and whatever to make it work. But like you say, the white, as it sits right now, I mean, I love it because, because I love it. But it's not going to come into its own until the car is plenty more complete. Once you've got that contrast of even things like the window rubbers, that really plays a part when you're talking something like a white car. Yeah. So
it's almost like the white makes you look at the details more, which then I think as an overall impression, if you walked away from it at the end, you're going to be more impressed. If you're a real car guy and you've got an attention to detail, you're going to be more satisfied. Like I mean, who gives a fuck what anyone else thinks? But even just you're going to be satisfied at the end when all the little fiddly bits are all on point. Yeah. You've sort of soaked more in as opposed to like just a bright colour and, that looks sick. And then you sort of, you're gone. You're already looking at the next part of the car or another car or whatever, You're sort of like, the paint looks fucking sick, but there's not much else there.
And I think that's where C. Michael's XY is kind of the same because the fit and finish on that car is excellent. He was going to paint that thing like electric blue. And then he got talked into painting it white, and even the painter was like, "Are you sure?" Are you sure you want to paint
I'm glad
this?
he did.
Yeah, and so am I. And look, at the
There
top,
are other colours you could do as well, not
Yeah.
just white.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but like he has a FGX XR8 that's the same, that's the FGX color that he painted that car. So it's not an XY color.
Yeah.
Not that there'd be that much difference. There'd be a couple of shades in it, but
for the most part, white's white, really, isn't it? Like, for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't think any sort of white, unless you maybe went to like a pearlescent, is really going to change any sort of way you look at a vehicle, really.
Yeah. And this is a pretty creamy white compared to most. Like yours is, what's yours, Alaskan white or? I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I should know that.
That's a bit more of a stark white by comparison for sure. And
But
so
you wouldn't pick it unless they were side by side.
That's
either.
right, yeah.
Like they all look white, and then you stick mine, yours, and mixed side by side, and you'll have 3 different shades.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it'll be. I mean, it's going to be far too nice for what we're going to do with it. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. Especially with the engine combination that you've got in it. Like that is not going to be a set and forget sort of deal. Like that's going to be a constant maintenance on that engine, purely just by design of what the engine is.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get a nice set of guard covers and all that kind of stuff. Like you're going to be working on a lot, whether it be valve lash, bloody. I keep joking and saying that you're going to be changing lifters like you change your jocks, but hopefully it's not that bad.
Hopefully not. Being that they're solid, if I get those bronze bush BAM lifters, that'll be the go. But I mean,
but even then, they have to get taken out and sent away to be rebushed and stuff.
Eventually, yeah, that's right. So it'll be
So that's like another whole element.
Yeah.
Of the car's going to be purely driveline wise alone would make whatever you did to this car, it wouldn't matter because the driveline for us anyway going in it is just sick as well. So it's definitely that little notch above your sort of standard Holden combination.
Having it now the way that it is, the car that is, and knowing that we're going to have to work on this pristinely finished, freshly painted car, it almost makes me wish we should have just put the driveline in it the way that it was. But you never would have been able to get it registered. And it's like I've said from the start, this was meant to be, we'll just cut the rust out. Like we'll change the seals, we'll cut the rust out of the back window, we'll maybe do some stuff in the engine bay and just call it good, get it ready for rego. But then obviously things snowballed further and further and further. Well, there was 18 months, I think, nearly. It was just over 12 months, between 12 and 18 months, from when I inquired to get the car into the workshop to when it actually got in there. Obviously, that was just the lead time because of the cars that were in the workshop at the time. Then, so I saved up some more money and whatever, and yeah, it was like, okay, let's do it. And that was the start of something far bigger than I thought it was going to be. Thinking that I was pretty conservative with my budget, I thought, at the start. Kurt's going to sit there and be like, I told you. Yeah. I told you.
I did, but it's not because I knew. It's because I'm negative.
Yeah. We'll see.
I kind of knew.
Because I'd spoken to Mick a fair bit. Obviously, he's gone through the whole process with the XY, and he sort of told me it was the same thing as this. It's like you send the car in and the panels that you've got, and then half of them end up in the bin, and you got to start with other ones because the ones you got just don't cut the mustard.
They're fucked.
Yeah. Mick spent hours and hours and hours on his front fenders and doors and stuff, welding and doing body work, cutting bits of rust out.
I can't even imagine him doing that, by the way. Yeah. Mick, when you listen to this, I can't imagine you doing that.
And then as soon as he got him into panel works, Joe was just like, yep, they're going in the bin.
Who has been here?
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's just how it goes. But also, I couldn't have picked a worse time in history to do this.
You picked the worst time to restore or do up a VH Commodore.
Yeah.
Because literally 6 months earlier, there was so many good rollers or just good vehicles that would have been a fantastic base.
Which I couldn't afford, yeah.
Yeah, at the time. you know, and basically once the car was nearly ready to come back, now all these cars are starting to come back out of the woodwork again, you know, cheap, like you're getting complete cars with like nice drive lines and stuff in the sort of same region as what you've spent just on panel and paint and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to cut in. I've got a hard solo. I haven't had one of these before. Have you had one?
No.
I'm going to give it a crack because I'm due for another drink. Oh, and we've also got a, you know, for the boys. Yeah. So, like I say, I thought I was pretty well prepared. I thought I had the gear that I needed. I thought I had enough funding to get the job done, thinking that, all right, while it's in getting the resto done, I'll save up a bit more money, and then that'll mean that I've got more parts and stuff. We can just hit it as soon as it gets home, right? That was the plan. But then it goes to the lie detector. The sandblaster.
Sandblaster man just fucked your car up, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
The dog.
And look, it happens to more people than you think. So there's a car in at Simon's now. Brad, he'll be listening to this. He's got a XP delivery. I know he won't mind me mentioning it. That was a nice car, you know, for all intents and purposes, for what Brad bought and for what Simon had originally looked at to have the work done. Because he's basically done the same as me. He's done a full balls to the wall resto. What came back from the sandblasters, you could mistake it as being a different car. You know, what came back once they'd done their bit and all the rust and all the shit had been blown away, all the, you know, bog and whatever from over the years, it was a totally different car. My car had not been restored by any means. There'd been next to no repairs done to it. It was fairly honest, but even then, there's still rust that you can't see. And it all goes away once the sandblaster does his bit. And then you go, okay, this is what we're really working with. So small, you know, like a 20-cent piece section of rust blows out to, you know, a Coke can pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you can see it through the paint, a lot of the time it's not going to be good news.
The seals were far, far worse than we first anticipated, because not only was it the outer skin of the seal that had been eaten away, but all of the structure behind it as well. So all that, they cut the seals off and they redid most of that before it got sandblasted. Same with the engine bay. Most of the engine bay got smoothed before it got sandblasted. And yeah, that was basically, in my mind at the time, once the car came back from the sandblasters and it was in primer, I was like, well, I'm committed at this point. But knowing what I know now, if you're not 100% on the car at that point, that is the point to pull out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, you're down, I don't know. It depends on how much your sandblaster cost and what work you had.
Exactly. You'd already, you know, done a heap of metal work in the engine bay. Were the tubs cut out at that point?
The tubs were cut out for sandblasting, so they had clean surfaces to work with. So, so you
were in probably a couple grand at this point.
Yeah, let's say you're probably in, I don't know, $3,500. Like I say, it depends on how much your sandblaster costs and whatever. But let's say you're in $3,500. You think like, oh, you know, like can't afford to lose that money. Well, sometimes, and this depends on what sort of car you're doing as well, because if you're doing a car that you can't find another one, well, guess what? It's stiff shit.
Yeah.
If you want it that bad, you're going to have to do it. But for some cars, like say if it was a VS Commodore or something like that, because people are going to start restoring them soon.
Someone is. What's his name?
I'm not sure.
Rozzy or Rizzy? I think he's done a full restoration on that VS.
Yeah, okay.
Because they do get rusty.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought,
Yeah.
these don't get. I thought the sort of rust woes went away, but they didn't really.
Yeah, all these so-called plastic cars seem to have a lot of rust in them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd really have to think at that point, like, am I better off just starting with a different shell? Someone that's saying your case, your car can't be replaced. It doesn't matter if you get another one because that was your dad's car. You know what I mean? So for me, I felt like I was fairly well committed, and I thought I thought I had it fairly well under control at the time. And I was committed to saving this car from the scrap heap, because that's exactly where it would have ended up. It would have ended up getting cut up as rust cuts or whatever, even though
There was nothing good left anyway.
I was going to say all the bits that people would have wanted were rusty. So, but yeah, if you're doing a resto and you get to the sandblasting stage and you've got the heebie-jeebies, sleep on it. Like, just get them to throw some cheap primer on it so it's sealed, and then either sit on it for a while and look around and see what else is available and figure out what you want to do, because that's probably the best advice I could give to anyone that's about to embark on this path. You've got to be prepared that sooner or later you will get to a point of no return, but when you get to that point of no return, you're in far deeper than you thought.
Yeah.
So, but I'm very lucky having Simon do the work, and he's a very transparent man. He doesn't hold anything away from you. He doesn't hide anything. Jamie, who works with him, he's a very good fabricator. You know, he's very good at metalwork, and he'll tell you straight away something that looks nice. He can find the flaws that are going to fuck you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was very lucky that they were able to sort of give me some warnings along the way.
You've had like a best case scenario, really,
Yeah.
for what you gave them.
Yeah.
Because you could have the exact same scenario, and people, you see it all the time. You could have the identical car you could have taken to the wrong person.
Yep.
Okay. You're not saving any more money, even just when you think you're getting a good job, and it takes 5 years. They've half-assed it, done a shit job of it, and they've taken all your money. You've still spent all that money that you've spent on this one, but you've got nothing to show for it. Resto shops, you know, it's not an uncommon thing. Finding a good painter is really hard. Yeah. I think even good painters would agree with that. Like, a lot of them, they're just unreliable. Like, I've had dramas with painters numerous times. I'm glad that, like, I met Simon through you and stuff. So, like, we've got someone that's just, says it how it is. You know what you're getting, you know. You pay him what he's worth, and you hope you can get in because he's busy, because he's good. Like, so. Yeah,
if the guy's got a 2-year wait time to get in, chances are he's worth the wait.
Yeah.
You know, if there's someone that's, after you've asked for an initial quote, they're ringing you back the next week going, when you bringing it in, chances are that's a red flag.
Yeah, especially if they want like 15 grand up front or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it all the time.
Yeah.
So, that's probably the other important thing, is to definitely do your research thoroughly.
Yeah,
thoroughly
that's
do your
right.
research.
So as far as paying, like you say, there are people that will ask for a large amount up front. Be somewhat careful. Have maybe some kind of a contract when you do that. Simon makes you sign a contract with him when you start. You pay, I think it was $5,000 to start. That's just for him to, and that basically gets it to the point where it's sandblasted and it's in primer. And then if you turn
ready for the real work to go.
And then if you turn around and say, oh, no, I don't want to do it, then he's not left holding the bag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the way that Simon works is that he invoices every couple of months. He's got a rotation of cars in the workshop, and so every couple of months we get an invoice. I know that there are other people who will have set stages. It's kind of like building a house, you know what I mean? So you'll put down your initial payment, and then once it's back from the sandblasters, you make another payment, and then once bodywork's done, you make another payment, and then after paint, you know what I mean? Like, there'll be a schedule in that way. Simon does his a bit different, and other people probably do it different again. I kind of like the way that he does it, though, because you're not getting this giant bill, after 6 months of not knowing.
The other thing is there's some accountability there as well, because you can go, I've done this, and this, and it's cost you this much, whereas you could probably
And it's all very well itemised on the invoices as well, so I've got to hand it to him there as well.
Yeah.
He lists exactly what he's done and what he's charging for and whatever. It's very good. Like I say, I guess I'm doing a review of my experience at this point, but I would highly recommend him to anyone.
Yeah, 100%.
I did myself no favours in this process, though.
That's you in a nutshell. How often am I telling you should do something differently just purely just because that's how I am? But you definitely do things. You go for that's. I got to give it to you. You want like a certain level, and whether you're there or not, you're getting it. You know, like one way or another, you're going to make it happen. So this is what I want, and I'm not changing, sort of thing. So which is a good thing because that's how you get these sort of results.
Yeah. So the rear quarters were pretty bad. They weren't terrible, but they were pretty bad. And we were looking at maybe we could get some front quarter panels because the wheel arch and the flaring on the wheel arch there is the same on the front and the back. So they did some measuring and they said, we could cut it out of a front fender and stick it in there and, this bit here and that bit there. And we could have made a patchwork quilt out of what we had. It would have been a skimmer bog and whatever, and you probably wouldn't have known the difference. But obviously, me being the way that I am, I sort of went looking and I found the new old stock rear quarters. I also found a new old stock front apron, and we put all those on there, which the front apron I feel like was a good investment. That changing that out versus repairing it, I think I probably saved money. But changing rear quarters is a big job. That's a big job. Getting the rear beaver panel and everything to match and the rear window and the back doors, and there's a lot of shit mixed up in that. It's not just a case
and it's not guaranteed like, okay, it's a new old stock genuine panel. That doesn't mean that it's going to line up perfectly.
No.
Like, we all know a lot of the rare spare stuff doesn't fit anywhere near as good as what you'd hope, but that's just what you're going to get with worn out old dies and stamps and stuff like that. But the genuine stuff's much the same. To a certain extent. Like, it's not guaranteed to be straight, unpick it, whack it on and just we're spot welding this thing on, it's got to be a beautiful thing, you might get lucky, but there's always going to be some fiddling, especially if you want something that's like a plus stock sort of, you're not just going for a stock like a OEM fit out of it. You're sort of getting those gaps a little bit more consistent, and your panel to panel heights all, so even if it was perfect, it still wouldn't have been good enough.
No, that's right. So there was a fair bit in that, and like I say, the total transparency there, that once we got halfway in, they were kind of like, this is a big job. And they don't do Commodores either, like this is a car that they're going to have to get into because they're probably the next wave.
I think maybe you're not ahead of the curve, but there's probably not a ton of people going to the extent of what you've gone to do these cars. I'm sure there are some out there, but they're not the same as the H series or the X series guys or whatever. And at this point, you could sort of see why, because the investment that you've made up to this point, there's no way you're ever getting that back, even if you tried to. Like, you're just not. The discrepancy there is actually quite large. Whereas if you did a X series Falcon or a H series Holden, or plenty of other a Tirana or something, you'd probably be able to get your money back at least.
Yeah, which is why a lot of them do it. Your HK, TG, Monaros, your X, TWY, XABC, even Falcons. People do this level of resto on them, and obviously the price that they command is fucking crazy, which is why we don't fuck with H series Monaros
as much as we'd love to.
But Simon and Jamie, that's what they do. They do H series Holdens and X series Fords and the odd Tirana and Cortina and stuff here and there. So that's what they're familiar with. And then to throw a Commodore in, they're like, we haven't restored a Commodore before, but obviously it's
all metal, eh?
Exactly, yeah. It's all metal and measurements.
Yeah.
You've just got to get it right. And when you've got that, the skill set, or that eye, I guess, when you've got that eye for that detail, you could move that to anything and it'd work.
Yeah.
So, and it shows. This thing looks far better than it ever would have looked in 1982. Do you agree?
100%.
It's
Yeah, I can't wait to see it with all the new trim and all that sort of stuff, and just everything fresh.
And it's not even the flatness of the paint or the fresh colour or whatever, because my wife didn't believe that this was the same colour that it was before. Obviously, before it had a bunch of surface rust and whatever, so it looked fairly different. But this is the same colour that it was its whole life, but it's just got those panel gaps spot on. It's got the, your panel heights spot on. Those little things make all the difference.
Yeah.
But being where we are makes it hard as well, because everything's got to be freighted. Because we're in southwest WA, there's some stuff in Perth, but even stuff from Perth, you've kind of got to get freighted because you don't want to waste an entire day going up and getting it.
Yeah.
And then to get anything...
It definitely is it's a great place to live. Like, we live in a beautiful part of the world.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, as far as world scale stuff goes, like, it is beautiful here.
There's not many other places I want to live.
Yeah, yeah. And, but yeah, it's also a hindrance. Like, it's one of the only places where you can't get E85 like easily. Yeah. We don't even really we don't even really have much of a choice for like no real speed shops. Like, no one good really stand out that has a proper speed shop like a Chris Mills in Perth or an Outlaw or RCE, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have anything like that.
No.
Everything is online or email or over the phone.
Yeah.
And freight is dear.
Yeah.
I will say, though, quick side note, Ozpost's been killing it lately. Absolutely killing it. They, I don't know
About
what
time.
happened. Dude, I've ordered a few bits and pieces, and I've been shocked at how quick it's been getting here. I ordered something from Lost Racing. It came like the next day, which is sort of, it was after lunch, and it came the next day on a Sunday. Actually, no, it was 2 days. I ordered on Friday, Arvo, and it was here Sunday. Which is pretty
And getting
good.
a Sunday delivery is weird in its own, but I guess Christmas.
December, yeah. So
Yeah.
they've been killing it. But yeah, so all that adds a definite cost.
Yeah.
Even as far as you might have had when you went looking for VHs, you might have had a better selection to look from to begin with. You might have been able to find
If I
something
was
better.
in Sydney or something, yeah.
Exactly,
I
yeah.
think I've mentioned
The parts
it before.
as well, like it was the door, whenever you needed something, not the new old stock stuff, but even just second-hand stuff, it was sort of like you really got to start looking in those hard-to-find places to get the bits you need, whereas you could probably post up in a group and be over in one or the other on the East Coast and, have a selection to pick from.
Speaking of finding parts in hard-to-find places, the doors, I think 2 of the doors that are on this car, we bought 3 sets of doors for this thing. And there's a mixture of all those 3 to get it right.
That's bad, eh? Gee, that's bad.
One of the sets of doors that we got, Simon, I think it was a customer or a relation of his, sent him a marketplace listing, and it was for, I can't remember, it was like a WB Udor Statesman or something like that. And he said, what do you think of this? Should I go have a look at it? So Simon's having a look at the photos, seeing if the juice is worth the squeeze. And in those photos, he zoomed in to look at something, and he's gone, fuck, are they VH doors on the wall of that shed? No shit. And so he's messaged
I didn't know
bloke,
this. You never told me this.
Yeah. So he's messaged this bloke, and he's just like, hey, are they VH Commodore doors? And he's like, oh, yeah. And they were blue or whatever, and they were hanging up on his shed. He's like, yeah, I got him. He goes, would you sell them? And he goes, yeah, I would. He's like, all right, cool. So he went up there. He wasn't interested in the car that was there. It was going to be, like I say, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. It was the amount of work they were going to have to put in it to what they wanted. It wasn't worth it. But he goes there, he picks up these doors, and bloke goes, yeah, they've just been sitting up there for years. I kind of forgot they were there. They're just part of the furniture, And Simon goes, you wouldn't happen to have a boot lid by any chance? And he goes, pulls back this Jack Daniels flag on the wall, and what's behind it? Fucking boot lid.
Oh, and that's the one that's on the car? Or a piece of it?
Can't remember. I think it might be, actually. Yeah, I think that might be the boot lid that's on the car. Because there was one that had been sandblasted, and then it stretched the skin. So, yeah, we had 3 boot lids, 3 bonnets, 3 sets of doors, 1 new old stock set of quarter panels. The front quarter panels are the ones that actually came on the car. That's the one thing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Yep.
The easiest panel to change.
Yeah, that's it. The whole front apron's been changed. The front windscreen panel's been changed. The rear windscreen panel's been changed. The sills have been changed. Like, we haven't left anything alone.
You couldn't have picked a shittier one, except for maybe that one I sent you on Facebook today.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The firewall's been smooth. I think the floor pan and the roof are
At least for a cool story, though, doesn't it? Like, much like I know we've spoken about it a couple of times, but like Stempalia's like Monaro that they've been doing up. Like, it's such a cool story.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. And that's what sort of makes this hobby what it is a lot of the time. It's the people and the stories that are
Yeah.
a good fun part of being an enthusiast, I guess.
Yeah,
or
for sure.
Hot
And-
rodder or whatever you want to call that.
And doing what we're doing and putting ourselves out there, we hear a lot of these stories that we never would have heard before as well, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And hopefully when we get our life together, we can take a couple of these microphones, we can bring these stories to the people as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's amazing the energy that a single person can put into something. It doesn't just go away. Like, you know, they've gone out to the desert, got the car and stuff, brought it back and got it to where it is. That's energy, right? You hear the story, all of a sudden you get a little bit of inspiration in you, and this energy comes from nowhere. It's like, well, fuck, if they can do something like that, we can do something that's like three-quarters better than that, and it's not going to be a big deal, whereas you might have maybe written it off beforehand, you know? Like, it's, I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's
just
awesome.
cool, yeah.
I guess there's not much more to talk about the resto other than the question that's on everybody's lips.
How much?
How much?
How much, bruh?
Now, I've got to preface this with a couple of things before I spurt it out. One, because it makes me sick, but two, because I need to give some context.
Well, I think you've given a lot of context this far.
Yeah. But by filming this, I feel like I've made the whole thing end up go the extra mile. You know, that's not to say that you wouldn't get this level of job off Simon anyway, but I think from what I asked for and the next level what I got was because of putting it in the public eye. You've got a very proud tradesman who knows that he's got his name all over this. So that's kind of why I guess it looks as nice as it is.
He's gone the extra mile.
Yeah. And, you know.
Which is it's kind of really what you asked for, because he asked you straight up, what do you want?
Yeah.
Tell me, because he'll do whatever you want.
But the same as everyone I said, it's not going to be a show car, it's going to be a street car, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want you to go too far with it, but at the end of the day, you always end up that far. So you go, oh, you told me not to make it a show car. Oh, yeah, but I would have liked it if you did this, or, you know. Anyway, there's none of those questions on this. The figure that I'm about to quote is not what I've paid Simon. Let that be very clear. There is a lot of money in parts.
You definitely splurged on
Yeah.
stuff, like the full bulk kit that
Yep.
was like over $1,000.
No, it wasn't.
thought it was
The bolt kit was like $700.
Oh, okay, $700
Yeah.
then.
The
Whatever.
VL one's more expensive because I got a lot
Oh,
more.
it's because it's VL as well.
So things like the bolt kit, all the billet dress-up parts that I've got. I got the bumpers re-chromed. I've got a new rubber kit that
How
does
much
the
were the
entire car.
bumpers? Break that down, because a lot of people would be interested to know how much
The
chroming.
bumpers, so same thing. Freight makes it hard. You know, freight makes it exponentially more expensive. But I think you hit me on the spot now. I do have this all written down somewhere.
I don't know why you do that, eh? Anytime I get a receipt for anything on my car, I just, like, I don't remember much of what I pay for anything.
I think including freight there and back, my bumper re-chroming cost me $3,200.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more than that.
That was for front and rear, including the SLE extensions. Now, that is just for bare bumpers, though. So that doesn't include getting new bumper rubbers, which you can't get at this point. End caps, you know, all the hardware and stuff.
But they were, like, restored as well, weren't they? Like, you sent them there, they weren't perfect.
Yep. So
they've been knocked flat.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah.
They
like,
went
the
to
full, like, really, really, really nice job. You couldn't
Yep.
do a better job, could you?
On the backside, you can still see all the pitting and stuff from where there was rust, but they were stripped right back to the bare metal, and then they were copper coated they get someone that welds up all the pitting, and then they file it, and then knock all the dents out. They copper coat
They
it.
were restored.
Yeah, file it, chrome it.
Yeah,
whatever.
it's not just a sand and strip and re-chrome and
No.
wrap them up and send them back, like 2-week turnaround. Like that was another huge wait as well, wasn't it?
So yeah, when I rang him, I think it was April when I rang them to inquire, and I was like, "Hey, roughly how much is it going to cost, and what's the process?" And he said, "Send them to me now if you want any chance of getting them back by Christmas." And this is in April.
Yeah.
And as it was, I didn't get them back until February. So that's a thing. But yeah, $3,200 is what it costs just to do the bumpers. And like I say, there's a whole bunch of other. I bought new odd stock tail lights. I haven't bought headlights yet, but I've bought some bonnet trims and
Heaps of stuff.
yeah, all the panels.
So you're just putting this price as basically like a body stuff.
Yeah.
And
So
there's still going to be more to go. Remember that.
From the day that I dropped it off to Simon's to now,
As it sits right
as
there.
it sits right now, and I've still got one more invoice to go from Simon also. So this isn't finished yet, but what I've spent up until this point, hang on, let me take a drink first.
Hey, it's not that bad, mate. You do this to yourself.
It is pretty bad. All right.
Are they good? Do I get one of them? Or
Yeah, get whatever you like.
I'm going to try this.
I feel like we're doing like the TV thing. We're just dragging it out now.
Yeah, we are. Go.
The price that I've spent up until this point is $84,734. That's what I've spent in the last 2 years. Now, when I dropped the car off, I had $43,000 in the bank that I'd saved. Yeah, I thought that would be enough. And at the time, there were a couple of cars which were for sale and, whatever. And I made an offer on a couple of rollers, which couldn't.
They were half-hearted offers though as well. I think you already knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
Because even I do remember, not to throw you under the bus, but I think you'd already really made your mind up, and the only way you were going with an unproven body, because you could have bought one of those
Yeah.
and then had rust coming through straight away, which we already spoke about. But yeah, there was
Yeah.
a few cars that looked nice in photos
They
and
look
stuff.
nice, yeah.
But yeah, the offer that you would have had to make and then freight and all the rest of it, you were never going to get anything really. Not at that point of time, the way the market was.
Yeah.
For it to be worthwhile for you, you really would have had to almost steal it off them.
Yeah.
Which just wasn't going to happen at that point in time.
Yeah, that's right. So, but to even get this body to a complete state, there's still things that I need to buy. I still need to buy some headlights, indicators. I've got to buy some sound deadener.
You got to pay a bloke to restore all your trim, chrome trim.
Yep, yeah, and that'll probably be a couple of $1,000s.
Yep.
By the time that's all done, even though they're all small pieces, it's
It's a specialist thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we just do it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And then-
that is someone that's really good.
And then same thing. So the body, obviously Simon's done a fantastic job of laying the paint flat, wet sanding and buffing it to make it look spectacular. But I'll probably send it to someone like James at ProShine, who is a specialist detailer, and they will, because I want to get it ceramic coated anyway, right? So, but I'll get him to do his thing with it and get it to a point. But that's going to be a couple of $1,000s. Probably, like I say, I've still got another invoice from Simon. There's another couple of grand. Like, it adds up really, really fast.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why this car is probably going to not do a whole bunch in the short term, because, we need to let my wallet recover a little bit.
Yeah, and not to mention, you got to find someone to do the chrome. If anyone knows anyone really, really good, maybe let Jeff know, because I think you had a guy lined up, but he's not doing it anymore. Is that right?
For trim pieces?
Yeah, for just, getting all your chrome stuff all hammered out nice and polished up. And I think you got to get some stuff re-chromed and all of that kind of business.
Yeah, so I didn't really have someone lined up, but I had a couple of
knew
people.
of someone anyway, yeah.
But then I've also gotten some mixed reviews as well. So one of the reviews which I'll take, with its full weight is one of the clients of Simon who literally had work done there and had to have it redone elsewhere. So, I do have to find someone that can do that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it's it weighs heavy on your mind as well when you're doing this kind of stuff, and when you've whittled away all the money that you originally have. Even though I've been trying to keep saving and whatever, and you sell bits and pieces to keep topping yourself up and doing all of that. It's something that weighs. It feels really nice to have the car back here, knowing that I've only got one more invoice to pay and it's squared away, and you don't have it hanging over your head anymore.
Yeah.
Not that there's someone ringing you up going, "Hey, remember you got this to pay for," but it's me. It's how I am as well.
100%.
I don't like feeling like I don't have it covered. Even though obviously I did.
Yeah,
it's back
100%.
here and it's all paid for.
Yeah.
And it's not like I had to sell my VS Ute and put my house on the market or remortgage the house or whatever to do it.
It's just snowballed. That's really all it is. It's just snowballed, and you're here now.
Yeah.
And by the time it's done, you're going to be like the car's going to mean something. Well, it means something already, but it's not going to be like a lot of these guys that just sort of easy come, easy go cars, You see the guys building sick cars and they have them for 5 minutes and then they're flogging them off and doing something else, You probably, you've got a lot of heart invested into this one, as do a lot of people around you.
Yeah. I can see how these projects end up getting sold unfinished though.
Yeah, if my car didn't mean as much to me as what it did, like, look how long it's taken me just to do any work on it. I'm just lose interest really quick. So, yeah, I definitely feel you there.
Yeah, there will be some people, if they're not as committed to the whole idea as we are, like we're pretty rock solid car guys. It's not like we play footy or go fishing or whatever. But if you were someone that had a few different hobbies and the stress was weighing pretty heavy on your mind, the easy way to get rid of that stress is just to get rid of the car. Yeah. And then you can pump that money into your other hobbies, I guess.
Yeah.
But because this is kind of just what we do,
I
was pretty committed. And I'm super lucky to have a supportive family as well. Like that, if you didn't have that, if you had a nag at home who was like, "Oh, you spending more money on that fucking..." Dude, that'd get real old real fast.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm very, very thankful for my wife's patience and understanding, because if you were to breathe those kind of figures at most wives, they would gasp.
Yeah, sure. At this point in our lives anyway, for me, my ability to make money is all with my hands. So when we're filming videos and doing stuff like that, that's like days where I can't go and work and just go and make that money. And then
you saying kids on? You saying YouTube ain't paying you a whole bunch?
Nah,
unbelievable.
Nah, not at all. So, yeah, there's for us anyway. With the age of our kids and stuff. And I don't really want to make it sound like we're making excuses, but yeah, it's just sort of this point in your life as well. Yeah, it's just sort of it is what it is.
You're dead right.
But yeah, so it's going to be the theme for it. It's going to be sort of a pro-ish street sort of.
It's Pro Street inspired. So Pro Street is a very American type of thing, and those cars have got, like big tubs, big wheels, cages and all that sort of stuff. This, I feel, is probably going to be more of a resto mod because, well, obviously we've restored this back to a factory type of appearance. We're going to go with all the OEM styling. Bar the stance, the wheels and the filter out the bonnet, this will be factory SLE as far as appearances go. You know what I mean?
But the driveline is very, very racy as far as Holden V8s go. Yeah. It's by no means like a no expense spared thing, but it's definitely pretty healthy. Pretty healthy. Anytime your compression ratio starts with 13, I think you've probably gone a little half level up more than what most would. Yeah.
That's the thing. I think once people have eliminated the possibility of running on pump 98, that's a pretty big commitment to make for something, especially if you're like us and you don't have pump E85 on hand. Yeah. But it'll be the driveline will be very pepped up, with
which you've already got, thankfully, as well.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
not,
but there's
this
still
isn't
money.
something you need to like, you know, find and build and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of that. Like, that's sort of already there, which is lucky.
But there's still money to spend there as well, obviously, because the engine needs assembling, and we're gonna put some updated parts in it, like say the bronze bush lifters rather than the needle bearing roller lifters, which means we might change some push rods, or you know, there's bits and pieces to change there. We've still got to buy like a tail shaft. I've still got to get a center.
Oh,
for the
there's
diff,
tons of stuff.
You know,
There's tons of stuff. But as
Yeah.
far as big chunky bits,
yeah, but this is the thing. Even though you've got some of the big things, it's all the small things.
the small things are what get you.
They quickly,
100%. They take
yeah.
way longer than what you think, and they cost way more than you think.
Yeah, before you know it, all the
Like,
big
it's
stuff
easy
was
to
cheap.
buy. Like, it's easy just to ship your car off and have it done to this point as far as workload. You just handball it. But like, when you're starting to figure out, oh, where do I want to mount this big ass trans cooler so it doesn't look like dog shit, and you know what I mean? And then you got to buy, you know, 1.5 times the amount of speed flow that you need because you've bought the wrong fitting.
Yeah.
You know, 3 times, and
Yeah.
you got to make a bracket. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm already not really like looking forward to the start of that. I'm looking forward to the end when we can sort of stand back and look at what we did. But yeah,
It's funny because there was someone in the comments after the video dropped and they said, I already feel sorry for Kurt for the work that he's going to have to do. And I'm saying, I feel sorry for Kurt. He's got it coming. He's had it coming this whole time. He's done half of this to himself.
you shouldn't have listened to me.
So, but nah, it'll be cool. It'll be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, I feel like we've banged on
Oh,
about
yeah,
this
a long way. I
long
hope-
enough, but I hope you did enjoy the discussion, and I hope it gave you guys a pretty solid insight. As I said on the video, this wouldn't have made very good TV, but it does make for a good podcast topic. So hopefully you got the info out of it that you wanted.
Under the bridge.
Under the bridge, we're going to pay a visit to the trolls, where the trolls live, under the bridge. Well, like I say, I think inadvertently we became the trolls this month with the terrible Photoshop job, which was
There was hundreds of comments, and a lot of them were
hundreds.
A lot of them were like, weren't getting it,
No.
or maybe they were and we're not getting it.
And I know I've saw some names that, you know, they're names that have been on our stuff in the past. So I know you're a viewer and stirring them up, like getting in there and literally just feeding the troll, which I thought was pretty funny as well. But seriously, dude, if you guys haven't been on Facebook or Instagram, check it out. So obviously I've photoshopped a two-tone SLE over the top of my car on the photo of it on the trailer being picked up. And it is abundantly clear that it's photoshopped, and I made very little effort to make it look legit. But you've got every man and their dog jumping on there going, that's fake. No, that's Photoshop. That got dream on, buddy. You'd never have that. So we were at the skate park, weren't we? And I said to Kurt, we could turn this into a series.
And you did.
So,
I wonder if it comes down to just like, in this day and age with how sort of like attention driven our brains are, like it's just fucking scroll, like people like that just really shows you how many like split seconds people are actually looking at a picture. And I'm sure I'm guilty of it as well, but I don't post up because no one should give a fuck what I think anyway, so I'm not going to voice my opinion on someone's stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, there's not a lot of attention. These are the same. Some of these people will be the same people that you've got every bit of info in something you've got on Marketplace that you're selling, reluctantly, no doubt, and that they'll ask you all the questions that you've literally answered in the first 3 lines on it. Like that's just where people's brains are at these days, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah.
These little supercomputers in our hands have just cooked us.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
reckon. What do you reckon? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think they do far more damage than they do good, but we couldn't live without them either. That's the sad part.
So I think that's what it is. If you spend just like another like 0.5 of a second, you might have got it.
Yeah, yeah. And like I say, anyone that's been following the page, obviously the Facebook algorithm just saw that it was gaining some traction, so they just threw it out to everyone. And then before you know it, you got people that they got no idea who we are, what we do. They've never seen a single video. They've never seen another post of ours. They just saw that one and they just went, these dickheads. And they're right.
Yeah,
they're right. But yeah, it was
entertaining.
It was
everyone.
comedy
It was
plus.
entertaining for everyone. Yeah.
And we gained a whole bunch of new followers from it. So if you're new here, welcome.
Thanks for coming.
But yeah, and then in the video that I posted on Christmas Day, picking up the car, there was probably only one troll in there who decided, well, they felt the need to let me know that I don't shut the bonnet right. I said, pity that your panel beater couldn't have taught you how to shut the bonnet right, because now it's got dents in it. I don't know if you guys can see from there, but it looks fine from my house. What's even better is that by not just dropping the bonnet from hand height, I haven't scratched my freshly painted radiator support with the bonnet catch. That's the reason it happened. Open the bonnet catch, drop it in, and then just give it a little boop. There you go.
Yeah.
This guy's obviously never had a brand new painted car before, because I'm scared to be anywhere near this thing at the moment, let alone shut the bonnet.
How annoying is that scratched bonnet catch thing though? When I redo my engine bay, I wanted to do it last time, but I didn't. So this is an idea. Someone can steal it. I'm going to unpick the round bit in the radiator support panel, the round bit that catches the spring,
for the spring.
The spring bit. I want to unpick it, clean it up, send it off, get it chromed, bring it back, obviously clean the chrome off where it needs to be, spot welder back in, then flush it off, mask it off. So when you don't ever have to worry about that paint on that bit, because it's going to wear away. That's just that's how it is.
Yeah.
I guess you could do like a zinc coating or something if you wanted, but I'd do it in chrome.
Yeah.
And then chrome all the other stuff off. That's what I'll do.
I
next
thought
time.
you had a chrome one.
No, I'm talking about the round bit in the radiator support.
Yeah.
I do have a chrome, the other stuff, but
Yeah.
there's still a few bits missing there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that'd be a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Purely because then you don't have to worry about it scratching and looking shit.
Yeah. For
Those
sure.
little things just irk you.
Yeah. But I had some great entertainment on night shift, reading the comments that came through on the series of my fake VH on the trailer, which then got a blower on it and then got defected by the cops.
Oh, it was good. It was good fun.
Yeah. But thanks for all you guys that were playing along. I know there was a few of you, and it was good fun. Enjoyed it.
Yep, for sure. So hopefully we can do there's heaps of stuff we can do to it. Like,
To this car?
Yeah,
Yep.
like that's not going to cost you any real great deal of money or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So
But we've also got like shitloads of other shit to do as well. Like
Yeah.
on like about 3 other cars as well. So
yeah, your car, Caden's car, this car has got 4 weeks basically until it's got to be ready for motivation, and it looks like it's done a head gasket. So I reckon the next lot of days off we'll be pulling the head and seeing whether it needs a head gasket or an intake manifold gasket and getting ready for motivation, because I really don't want to, and also don't really have the provision to trailer it up. I kind of want to drive it up and drive it back like I did last year. So, yeah, we're going to have to spend a bit of time on it, which sucks because we're really at a tipping point on the wagon and we've got another car.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to
hustle.
Yeah. I've sort of got until end of Feb before the next one comes in. So
Yeah.
and in between that, I also want to. My car's apart at the moment. I've changed all the water. Well, I'm in the process of changing all the water pump setup to. I guess if anyone's interested, I'm putting a Davies Craig EWP 150, sort of their bigger pump that they have. I'm changing from the CVR pump that I had to that style pump. Doing that to gain some some room to put a proper shroud that's going to be off the core of the radiator, fully shrouded fan and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've got all the bits I need for that, except for I just need Chris to press me up the start of the shroud, and then I'll cut my holes and do all the mounting and stuff like that. But so hoping to get that done. Like, I'm actually keen, which is weird for me, to get it done. So definitely want to get it all ironed out before the weather goes away. I want to be able to test it in sort of the peak summer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident now.
Yeah.
Very confident. I've read an awesome article on cooling systems and learn a couple of really little small details that are going to hopefully help me get it all nailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good dogs.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. I dare say, unfortunately, because of the time constraint, we're probably not going to film what we do on this ute. We're probably just going to have to smash it out because really time is of the essence for both the event and the stuff that we've got
I didn't
to
even
do with
think
the wagon.
about filming anything on this ute.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's not happening. It'd be boring anyway.
Yeah, it probably would. I mean, it'd be an episode, you know what I mean? But
I guess not like
For
anything we do is that riveting, really.
although we do get a lot of people telling us, like, oh, you got to put PSI 3 or 4 on the channel more. Yeah, I get it. But, you know, at the moment, I'm not using it a bunch, so it doesn't get out more. And I know that would be a video on it, but there's not going to be much to see, honestly. But yeah, we've got a lot to do. But yeah, I think with reassembly on the car, I've sort of spoken to a few people who know boats as well. You know what I mean? Like people who have done this shit before. And let's get it rolling. We'll get it on 4 wheels. We'll plumb it for brakes. Then we'll do sound deadening. Then we'll look at body wiring and assembling the doors. Once that's sorted out, then we can put all the glass back in. We'd have to put the headlining in before we put the front and rear glass in because it's got to be glued with the window in place. Then that seals that up, and then we start on engine, driveline, fuel system.
Blah,
and then,
blah, blah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where it'll come. But yeah,
You haven't even mentioned a single bit of custom fab yet.
no, because that's your thing.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully there won't be a hell of a lot. There will be some, don't get me wrong, but hopefully there won't be a hell of a lot because I'm not building a turbo kit. I'm not putting an intercooler in, and I'm not, you know, there will be stuff. Don't get me wrong.
There'll be heaps of shit. Heaps of stuff. Heaps of little bits.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's enough of the VH.
Yeah.
As beautiful as she is.
As beautiful as she is. Let's get on to...
You know what really grinds my gears? Running on the chip.
On the chip, powered by Reed Speed. We got to say massive thanks to Dan at Reed Speed for his support in 2023, and hopefully we'll have his ongoing support moving forward as well. Just great dude.
He'll surely have ours regardless.
Yeah. We're customers whether he's on or not. You know what I mean? Like he's a great dude and makes a killer product at a reasonable price. So yeah, no, we will be supporting regardless. But thanks heaps for jumping on board, mate. We do appreciate all of your support.
See, he's working on that new little product.
Yeah, if you were on the live podcast on it was podcast number 12 live, we I guess did some impromptu market research on a product.
Yeah.
And there's been some research and some prototyping.
Yeah, and I'm actually keen to do something with it as well because now that I've moved the CVR water pump, I've basically kept the billet legs and bought a billet manifold for it and I'm going to be hanging the Davis Craig pump, away remotely near the radiator, so it actually is going to free up where the suction on those CVR pumps was right in the way of where I wanted to put a sensor mount for a crank trigger, so that's frees me up. It's sort of timed out beautifully for that, so hopefully I can come up with some sort of ideas as well to help just in my particular application. Yeah, so definitely keen to get a crank trigger on there at some point, especially once the other motor goes in there. Free up get rid of that. Well, not get rid of the dual sync, but just use the dual sync for the synchronization, and then get a nice 36-1 or a flying magnet. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
And get some really crisp, accurate crank
resolution.
Triggering. Yeah, crank triggering.
Excellent. What have you got that gets you on the chip, buddy?
Nothing other than the cliche Speeding fines.
Speeding fines.
Yeah.
Hit me, brother. I know. Yeah, this is going to be so good.
Oh, hang on. What one are you thinking of?
I'm just
There's a
thinking of
freshie from today.
speeding fines in general.
Yeah, I think not even speeding fines, just
knock on wood, I haven't had one in a long time.
yeah. Maybe even just molten over operators in general. Like imagine, it's the Christmas period, so they're out in force like
Double demerits.
double. Imagine just going home after a hard day's work and just being like, yeah, I've got heaps of flashes today, love. Like fucking so good. Like
Busted my quota by lunchtime.
people are just, some people I'm sure are, rough time of the year and stuff like that. But I really just drove it home by fucking sending them a $200 speeding fine for 9Ks over or 10Ks over or whatever, when all the research states that they don't do fuck all to save any lives or anything. It's purely a revenue raising. Like if you can't see that, then I don't know.
My theory is if you're catching someone doing something wrong, then you got to pull them up in the moment. Don't just take a photo of them and send them a letter 2 or 3 weeks later. That ain't changing behaviours. Because if that person is prevalent for doing the wrong thing, they take that photo and they're going to be doing that for the next couple of weeks before they get that fine. If let's say, for instance, that does work and it does change their behaviour,
Which it doesn't, but yeah, for argument's sake.
Yeah, they've got a couple of weeks of unwilling.
I'm sure watching your speedo to make sure
Yeah,
you're not going over is going to be. If you're just watching the road and just driving to the conditions, I would bet money that there's research out there that says that that's safer.
yeah.
The research would
safer than being 100 metres past a speed zone change in a bush.
Yeah,
on a
because
long
it's always
weekend.
the low level stuff too.
Yeah,
it really is.
Unless
Oh yes.
some people.
Our boy Michael, he got caught being a naughty boy in his ex-wife Falcon. We won't go too far into it, but
I think it was the same deal. I think it was it a speed level change? I don't know, but yeah, he got a sweet little fine.
yeah, he was only a few kilometres an hour off having it confiscated off him for a short period of time.
Yeah, possibly.
So you got to watch yourself anyway. But yeah, I just thought it pissed me off really because I seen one again the other day. I don't really speed around too much. It's not sort of my jam. Like,
Yeah,
if you're going to just speed around constantly everywhere, obviously you're going to get caught. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not against going for a blat somewhere. Like, have your little your goes here and there in a spot that's,
yeah, time and place.
time and place is what I was looking for. That's right. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I just I could never do it. Couldn't do it.
nah.
I think they're just slimy buggers. I reckon they really are.
Molten over operators. What's the other one? Parking fine blokes.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't know. I mean, I know. I've worked with guys that were rangers before that are some of
Yeah.
the best people I've ever met. So it's kind of like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
they
you
got
get
a
kinda
job
stuck.
to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, they got a job to do. They don't make the rules. They just got to play by the rules.
But that's how you sell it to yourself, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I've got a job to do. We've all fucking heard that in the previous few years, like that bullshit.
Yeah.
You can't hide behind that stuff forever, I don't think. You've got to draw the line somewhere. Molten over thing's a bit different to that, but yeah.
Yeah. After a while, though, I think pulling that shirt on day after day would have to get harder and harder. If you're going to have to enforce things that you don't believe in, and you've got people, obviously disgruntled people, you've got to wear it because you're the face. You're the person standing there. It's not the person that's collecting the revenue that has to stand there and answer to it.
Because let's be honest,
have
the
to be
revenue
hard.
that's raised, I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's a substantial amount. They're not putting that into
education.
driver programs. They're not putting it into our roads. Nothing. They're just pocketing that money and fucking pissing it up the wall. Most likely, like that's what these guys do.
Seems
pretty
to be.
much the opposite of what we want them to do is what they seem to do.
Yeah.
It's more or less like a wealth transfer in a way. So like you could half sell it if they were improving, driver training and roads
Yep.
and even putting more coppers on the road so that, there's more coppers around so they can pull you up and be like, pull your head in. Because
Yeah.
there are definitely people out there, especially like when we were young, man.
Yeah.
We fucking needed it for sure. 100% we needed it more than what we got it.
Yeah.
You know?
And there was
Because you will.
Yeah.
A lot of the way people we used to drive, we were fucking lucky we didn't kill someone or ourselves.
Yeah. If there was more community engagement, if they built more tracks, if they ran more programs.
That's it, exactly.
If they improved the state of our roads, then
They should
the
be
whole thing
sponsoring. Realistically, they should sponsor like a Whoop Ass Wednesday. There's no reason why the government couldn't sponsor that every fucking week.
Yeah.
And encourage people to go there, and then have a maybe a slightly harsher, you know, a good police presence, and then have a harsher sort of thing if you do step way out of line. I'm not talking 10Ks or whatever, but like if
30,
you're traveling,
36.
yeah, whatever, you know, like if you're really getting out there. If you've got somewhere to go that's not going to cost you money, but then you're probably not going to do it, you know?
Yeah.
It will save lives. There are definitely things that you can do to save lives, and finding people and doing fuck all else about it is not one of them.
Yeah, that's right.
Generic rant, I know, but it's something.
Yeah.
It's something.
No, it's a good one. It's a good one because I don't really have much of one other than it's not applicable to everyone, but it's applicable to us, and that's just the thing that gets you on the chip when it comes to Christmas time and everyone's getting ready to go out for Christmas lunch and have a couple of drinks or whatever, and you're at work.
Yeah. Shift workers.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Which, I mean,
I'm a Grinch, so I don't care too much. I got to do what I needed to do with the kids in the morning and all that kind of
yeah.
jazz.
Yeah.
So
My kids are young enough. We just kind of lied to them and moved Christmas Day to suit my roster, essentially.
Yep.
And I'm sure that's going to do trauma to
far
them.
out, Jeff. That's some sort of God complex type
Yeah.
shit, eh?
There's going to be some
an
trauma
animal.
there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we
Think
just...
of the children.
yeah, we just shifted Christmas Day, and you know, we sort of did some stuff with the family and whatever. But you know, these are the sacrifices that we make so that we can do the things that we do. Because obviously, that sacrifice does give you a little bit more money, not a hell of a lot, but you know, you earn more than the equivalent position who works 9 to 5 because you make that sacrifice.
We're used to it. It's just the industries that we're in, isn't it?
Yeah, and the location where we live, there's a lot of resource mining and heavy industry. A lot of people here do shift work. It's not unusual to see the pub pumping on a Tuesday night because that's the middle of these blokes' break. You know what I mean? You're not waiting for Saturday because you're going to be at work on Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how it is. But yeah, it does wear thin sometimes, and I've copped Christmas Day, Boxing Day. I'm going to be at work on New Year's Day. I'm going to be at work on Australia Day as well.
Oh,
I've
all of
copped
them.
the whole lot. And when I saw that on the calendar, I was like, fuck all you blokes.
But you're free for motivation.
I am free
Which
for
I'm not.
motivation.
I'm not.
I've booked time. I had to book a couple of days off, and I booked a couple of days off before motivation in case I needed some time to button up the car or whatever. But yeah, you unfortunately are not available.
Not at this point. But that's okay.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
Although-
Probably not, though.
Yeah, which sucks.
Yeah, I'm already a bit off it. Like,
What if you just came up for the Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I was like, I'm not sure. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
You don't have to do the full 3-day gig, but if you came up on a day,
Yeah, I
run
definitely
on
don't want to
Saturday-
miss out on catching up with everyone.
Yeah,
Even like all the boys that we're camping with, or that you guys are camping with. I haven't got to meet some of those guys, so it would have
Yeah.
been good to catch up with them. And just, all the guys we seen last year, this year still,
yeah,
start of the year.
yeah,
I'm definitely going to miss it if I don't see them.
yeah, for sure. There's going to be 6 cars at our camp at this stage. Myself and the white XY will be there. There's going to be a black XY with us as well, which if you've seen, I think it was the Aussie Garage, they did a video on Wolfie's XY and Simon's HQ. They're both going to be in our camp. And then we've got a couple of guys from ProTune that are going to be joining us as well. So there'll be a bit of a camp there. We'll be, doing our thing. I'll be walking around with the camera a bit and probably take these microphones. I might do some more like off-the-cuff interviews, just like, hey, tell us about your car sort of thing, which I didn't do last year. And look, I'll be honest, I get self-conscious about it too. I'll be standing around the car and I know the owner's standing over there, but I just don't want to ask him, like, you feel stupid, like, hey, do you want to be on my YouTube video? You know, I think it'll get to a point.
And you're way better than me at that. I don't want I don't want anyone even seeing me do anything on camera out in public, eh?
Yeah.
Even the shed's bad enough.
Yeah.
Like,
When no one's watching.
Yeah.
But
like,
yeah.
you're fucking so shit on camera.
Yeah. But hopefully
You suck.
Hopefully I'll be able to do a little bit more of that this year and sort of.
Yeah. I think one thing that will be good is to start getting some people that we've met and know on here for this.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've definitely beat the dead horse as far as just talking between us.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's definitely getting a little long in the tooth maybe.
Yeah.
I think. Like, I enjoy doing it, but I don't know, as far as viewership and maybe building this part of the platform, it'd be good to start getting some interesting people on.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of topics. You can't keep revisiting the same thing over and over. So, yeah, I do agree. And there's potential that there's a couple of people that will be coming from over east for motivation. And, you know, there's potential that we might be able to rope them in before they go back home and whatever else. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, obviously,
Yeah, it'd be good if we can kick off like having a guest in the first or second month of the year. That'll set a good tone for the rest of the year for us.
For sure. Absolutely. But yeah, that's all that got me on the chip, mate. Hopefully you can make it to motivation. Like I say, at least for one day. And I know it's not ideal.
No.
Because, you know, work is important. Money is important, unfortunately, as much as we wish it wasn't.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, there's got to be some work-life balance.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, let's shift on to the last segment.
Hello?
Blower one. It's our favourite. We love it. And just before we started recording, we had no voicemails. But if I refresh the page, it looks like we might have one. We do have one. Look at this. Put the call out on Instagram, and we've got one from, I can see the name here, it says Brendan. You ready, bro?
Hit it.
Is there any, or was there any, two-door VB to VL Commodores ever custom made in Australia?
Is there or isn't there? I think there was. So there was.
I bet there was.
Yeah. So there was the it was an Opel Monza, I think it was. I don't think they were built as Holden Commodores, but there was in Germany. There's the Opel Record and the Senator, I think it is. There are a couple. They share a lot of Commodore architecture. You know, it's all very similar sort of stuff. Theirs had little four bangers in them, and obviously we had V8s in ours and whatever. But there is a panel kit that you can buy for a VB to VH. I don't know if it works with the VK, but that'll build you a VH coupe, essentially. And then the Monza was like a hatchback, so that was kind of more like an LX hatch from the B pillar back.
But nothing like an LX.
Yeah.
They don't look good, eh?
No, they don't.
They don't. Like, yeah. I'm sure, because like he asked if anyone had sort of custom done one, and I'm sure there's people that have done their own as well.
Yeah. I've seen in Australia one of the black coupes in a VH, and it's basically done up with all of the grille, the lights, the trim and everything to make it like an SLE coupe. So I have seen that.
I wonder if you could, like, I don't know if you'd have to shorten the wheelbase or what. If you could do something that looked more like Fox Body-esque, it'd maybe look a little better. But I think just with all that glass and, I don't know, any of the ones that I've seen, the proportions just aren't there for me. And I don't know. I guess the beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be a lot of work to, in my opinion, have something that kind of looked a little on the nose.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to try and make the interior. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was nice. Actually, how did you find the hard Solo?
Just tasted like Solo.
It did.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of an aftertaste, but it does just taste like Solo.
Yeah, it
see, they're
literally
not allowed-
tastes like Solo. You could put that in a normal can and definitely be in trouble if you're walking through the turnstile on a mine site.
Did you see that they had to change the name?
Yes, I did see
It's
that.
going to be hard strong now. Anyway, so if you did that coupe conversion, how would you then make the interior right? You know what I mean? Like you'd have to make some custom, like door panels for the back section because obviously it's not a door anymore.
Yeah,
and you've got
that wouldn't be too
and you've got
bad.
a longer door on the front, so you'd have to
the
remake.
thing I don't like is when I've seen it, it just doesn't.
The proportions are a bit funky.
It's so funny because I remember, I would have been sort of in my probably early 20s, and I went and visited my uncle he was living in Sydney at the time, and he had like this Mustang. He likes Mustangs. He had, at the time, I think he had, what was it? A Mustang Coupe. I can't remember what year it was anyway. He had this Mustang book, and it was sort of like from the start to the end of all of them, and I still don't know that much about Mustangs really, but I'm sort of looking through, and it was like the Fox body era, and if you just look at what they look like in stock form, fuck, they are ugly, like dorky looking cars, and I'm like, because you're looking at like your 68s and whatever, all the really like cool, nice Mustangs.
Then you
go to the
71. That was butter.
Yeah, that one's probably still never been that flash.
Yeah.
And then you look at the Fox bodies. I remember saying, like, fuck, these things are like dorky as, but now I love them.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely love a notch. I'd love to have a notch one day there.
Yeah, I can't really get around a hatchback Fox.
Not
body.
as much, no. I seen someone did the notch, but they put the 4i front on it. Oh. That kind of looked all right, because I've never been a massive fan of the 4i front either.
No.
Definitely like the sort of single headlight shape but I kind of like, there's
Beer
only
money.
sort of one look I like, it's like the full, like you put the nice snowplower front on it, and obviously it's, like the drag car, radial car looking look.
Was it Lyle Barnett? He had a 4-eyed Fox, that beer money that was built
I
on
think
that.
they've still got that.
Yeah, Horsepower Wars or whatever it was back in the day.
Yeah.
That was a 4-eyed Fox, and that,
But yeah, what I'm getting at is if you could get some sort of proportion that looked maybe a little more similar to that, like I think maybe the C-pillar's a little sharper. Like I think once you go to a coupe, you either go the real arch sort of look or the sort of the coupe notchy sort of more.
Yeah, okay.
You got to pick one or the other. Whereas like the Commodores are sort of in between.
They're a bit boxy.
Yeah, the hatch is hard to pull off, really.
Yeah.
Like Tirana hatchbacks are perfect.
An LX hatch, you can't.
Yeah,
you
really,
can't.
Like I love them. Yeah, one of the absolute favourites.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be hard to pull off. I reckon they look crappy.
Yeah.
When you sort of just custom do them.
Yeah.
Get Bad Chad over here, mate. Have you seen that fella?
I have. Yeah,
He's doing one now. He's doing a chop on some fucking thing now. He makes it happen, Kappa.
I was going to say, he bangs some stuff out, and he does like hour-long episodes
Oh,
of wandering
heaps,
around, and it's
he cops a lot of flack.
Hey, but that helps you grow.
Yeah,
That helps you grow, man. Yeah. That's, if anything, we probably don't cop enough flack.
Yeah, we don't do enough.
Yeah,
But that's all right.
yeah, we do what works for us at least.
Right, quickly, changing subjects, and before we go, did you see, because you know how I love talking about the latest and greatest, something new popping up. It's that time of the year. Haltech's new 10-inch dash.
Yeah.
What do they call it? The UC10.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's sort of, they've just filled a little void in the market there, I believe.
Yeah, because the IC7, whilst I'm sure it was a fantastic product, and everyone
I was
going to say, and everyone has great success with it. I just didn't like the Game Boy look with the buttons on the side and all that sort of stuff. Look, if push came to shove and I really needed a dash and that was the one for it, it wasn't going to stop me from buying it. But when you look at like the Holly offerings,
I was about to say
the Motec offerings,
yeah,
they're a little bit
the
more.
Holly especially is like probably my favourite one, like the Pro Dash.
Yeah, very aesthetically pleasing.
Well, and it's got that, you can sort of, although probably hard to use in a lot of cases if you're putting it in the factory cluster position, but the fact that you can use it as a touch screen, so you're getting some extra functionality. You don't need to buy CAN keypads and stuff, which aren't overly expensive, but it's kind of just cool to be able to. I've always just liked the idea of you can literally make a switch on a screen, and make it do switching
But like you say, if you've got it in the factory cluster position, maybe the keypad is a better idea anyway.
100%, yeah. So I definitely like the sort of sleek, the Holly stuff. I've always liked the features of the Holly stuff. It's as far as their dashes and all that sort of stuff goes, like that's always been pretty good. But there's a 6.8 and then they do like a 12. So even if they did something in between, would be really good. So the fact that Haltech, an Australian-made company, has come out and it basically has the same sort of sleek looking design.
It does look very, very nice. And I think they've got the buttons, but they come with a remote mount.
Yeah.
So it does look... Basically, like I say, that was the one thing that really irked me about the IC7. Even though it had a beautiful display and the functionality was great, just having the Game Boy look or the Nintendo Switch in your dash is like, nah.
Look like G-Shock made your dash.
Yeah. So this UC10 definitely... that's a tick for me, big tick. Yeah. And it's and it does all the data logging and stuff. You can use it as a standalone.
I think they do a couple of different ones,
So
I just wanted to make mention of that because I thought it was cool. Well, there's always something new that I forget to talk about. I don't think it was out. I think that came out of PRI. I don't think I know it came out of PRI. So it was good. It was good to see that they didn't just blow the whole wad at SEMA and not have anything to let anyone. They sort of left it for PRI, which...
Yeah. Which I guess that is a PRI item, you know what I mean?
100%.
It's SEMA, obviously SEMA's got a lot of cool stuff in there, but when it comes to data acquisition and stuff like that, that's definitely a racing product. And I'm glad that they left it for PRI.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably almost time to wrap it up. But before we do, I just want to extend once again a big thanks to everyone who supported us in 2023, as well as, or especially Reed Speed, Lost Racing Products, two supporters that have been behind us, for a while now. And, we're proud to have you on board. In saying that, we'd love to have other people on board as well. We've got a couple of inquiries that we can follow up on, but if you or if someone you know, or if you have contacts with someone who you think they might benefit with partnering with us, please get in contact. You can get in touch with us at torqhub@gmail.com, because obviously to keep leveling up, you need to double down. And when we got things like this weighing us down, it does make it hard. But we would love to work with particularly Australian manufacturers who are doing cool stuff for...
Yeah, people that would happily align with, not just anyone.
Yeah, look, and if you touch base and...
Max Speeding Rod, stop messaging us because we're not interested, all right? Fuck off.
Yeah, Max Speeding Rods are probably not on the list, but if you do know someone... And look... It might not jive. If you contact us, it might not be the right fit, or we might not have the right project in line, or whatever. But we would love to. We're bad at marketing ourselves in a way of approaching these people. So if you guys wanted to, take that awkwardness off us, that'd be lovely. But yeah, moving forward to 2024, we do have some cool stuff in the whims. I'll say we're gonna hopefully finish that the rear mount turbo wagon.
Yeah.
We're going to start putting this car together, which probably won't be finished in 2024, but we'll definitely give it a nudge. But we do have one super gangster project, which, as you said, I think is coming in Feb.
Yeah, late Feb at this stage.
Yeah. And, if the opportunity presents, we want to take this show on the road as well. We want to go and visit some more events. We want to see some more people, shake hands, kiss babies, bring microphones, do more podcasts and all that kind of stuff. So we can't do any of that, or none of that would be worth doing if you guys didn't watch. So massive thanks to all of you who do.
Yeah, we definitely get a kick out of it, just the interaction alone.
Yeah.
We really don't. The money's not the focus, which is it's important, because how long have we been doing this now? How many years?
4 years.
It doesn't feel like 4 years, and you'd never make it 4 years if you were trying to get any sort of monetary value, or even just trying to get money out of people. It's just not the approach that we're ever going to take. We're not here to try and get what we can off who we can. We're really more the opposite, trying to serve who we can and build relationships and just get to know more people in the industry, really.
Yeah, that's right.
And just in the scene in general, you know.
Yeah.
So
If we were doing this for money, we would have given up in 6 months.
yeah,
but we're
this
still here.
would be dumb for that.
Yep,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
could definitely just go and do more work on either at refineries or on people's cars, and it would serve me a hell of a lot better, I'll tell you that.
For sure. But if you'd like to support us any further than just watching, please go to torqhub.com.au, get yourself some shirts, hats, stubby holders, or hoodies, whatever you like. But if you don't want to, that's cool. What you can do to support us for free is to like our videos, share them with your friends, and subscribe to our channel because it costs $0 to do it.
That's it. And if you've got any ideas for videos or topics that you think we could cover well, you know, whether it be fabrication or something we've already done before, you know. I've already thought about doing sort of a, once we get the wagon sort of done on the road, just doing a sort of a quick sort of blow by blow of a few key points for doing the rear mount turbo stuff. Just something that someone can, if they've just never done it or just want to know a few key benefits or how
Tech
to do
tips.
things. Yeah, tech tips or just maybe do's and don'ts or maybe consider. We might be able to bang one of those out. I've already got an idea for that. So
Sweet.
yeah, let us know anyway.
Anyway, thank you all for listening. I hope you got something out of it. I want to wish you all the best for 2024. And if you're in WA, or even if you're not in WA, make your way over here, and we hope to see you at Motivation in the first weekend in Feb.
That's it. We look forward to seeing you guys and seeing what the new year brings to us. From me also, have a good new year, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.